Fulfilment comes from valuing your own self-worth. Fulfilment does not come from attaining a specific career salary, nor from achieving a worldly milestone within a corporation. When working as a consultant, it's important to remember that metrics like chargeable hours, interim review feedbacks, what project you've just worked on, they should not become measures of your own self-worth. You are who you are. So what changed for me to come 360 degrees and revert back to this perspective? Initially, during my early 20s, I'd been someone who fully believed in satisfaction coming from your own sense of self, not relying on any external career nor job to build you up. By my mid to late 20s, I'd changed my perspective actually. As I joined the workforce, I started to think differently, similarly to how everyone else thought. I overvalued what attainment a specific career checkpoint could give me. And I thought that if I didn't achieve that, that should be a source of absolute frustration. I was part of the many that believed that my sense of individual fulfillment and accomplishment could perhaps be achieved by meeting those specific superficial career milestones, such as rising through the ranks, trying to attain a better salary, bonuses, etc., etc., etc. I began to believe the corporate fallacy that hard work would always allow for inevitable success, and that success would equal to fulfillment, and then bumps along the way, like a nasty manager, or a difficult project, or a challenging bit of work, were just labours to complete, like Hercules, and then I was on some sort of corporate hero's journey. And as I've turned 30, I've come full circle, and realised that this hero's journey is nothing more than a professional myth. So how have I managed to finally detach myself away from this social and professional pressure? Number 1, I've stopped comparing myself to others. Self-explanatory and probably the most common bit of advice shared to young professionals. But what does this mean within consulting? Well, within consulting, the culture of interim reviews, feedback and grading creates a false equivalency of what your true professional worth really is. I would contend that it's not worth stressing your mental health because you get a low or high grade. The reality is, in consultancy, the work you do is down to luck, or it can be down to luck. For example, the way you're allocated onto a project, the time when you're able to do client work. It changes and shifts depending on multiple factors. So why bother comparing yourself to someone else? There are literally multiple variables. The feedback you even get from a line manager can basically be down to how the way that person writes or communicates. It can be down to whether or not that person is even good at writing feedback. So why bother getting upset over it? You cannot let the way a couple of bullet points is written about you to dictate your state of well-being. So don't compare yourself to others. It ain't cute for you, nor anyone else, nor your own mental well-being. Number 2, I've disconnected myself from the insecurity of the professional ladder and found different habits. Reading, cooking, music, different activities that gave perspective. So get a hobby. Number 3, I've reconnected myself to real conversations out loud, with family and friends, with people I trust. I speak about my professional doubts to people I trust out loud. This helps make sense of inward anxiety that can otherwise throttle your mental well-being. I've learned to voice my misgivings out loud. It became healthy to voice this in a nuanced way to people I trusted and who had my best interests at heart. This wasn't about complaining about the nature of work. No, I'm not necessarily someone who devalues nor dislikes the day-to-day of a job. The truth is, whether you're at an NGO, law firm, or in a task-driven role, day-to-day task-driven roles can be very similar across industries and professions. And so voicing out loud inner thoughts was not about expressing the lack of enjoyment on specific tasks. It was about expressing out loud the sheer weirdness of putting so much emphasis on the need to attain arbitrary professional positions as a way to make yourself content. Most importantly, number 4, I've decided to look inward towards spiritual growth rather than outward towards material growth as the source of contentment. To be honest, it was the realization that bureaucracy and hierarchy are intrinsic parts of all career paths within capitalism. The belief in the idea that excellence leads to immediate fulfillment has started to wane amongst younger generations and self-aware professionals. Is attainment of that particular salary bracket after years and years of work really worth it? If you work, what is the end result? I've started to understand that industries are built on young graduates, young professionals, and young interns who are willing to give up their time for less than their value, less than their worth. This theme of knowing your value and knowing your worth has started to blossom inside me, like Treebeard finally waking up and challenging Isengard. So talk, conversate, and express. Express yourself. Expressing your doubts is the first step to normalizing your professional reality and understanding what fulfillment truly is.